Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast. And today, I'm going to go my review of AEW's Dynamite. Starting off the evening, we'll go to our first match of the night. It is for the AEW International Championship. It is Rey Fenix defending the AEW International Championship against Nick Jackson from the Young Bucks. The match itself, I thought, was a good match. Back and forth matchup between Fenix and Jackson, with Fenix and Jackson both exchanging in the middle of the ring. Nick Jackson then hits a Hurricane Rana off the guardrail on Fenix on the outside. Jackson was keeping the pace of the match. Fenix then gets up, hits a Hurricane Rana into a roll-up on Nick Jackson for a near fall. Nick Jackson then gets up, hits a Poison Rana on Fenix in the middle of the ring. Nick then hits a Canadian Destroyer on Fenix for a near fall as well. Nick then hits a BTE trigger on Fenix. Fenix then gets up, hits a devastating frog splash off the top rope on Nick Jackson. And then Fenix ultimately picks up the victory with a roll-up on Nick Jackson, pins him for the 3. And your winner of the match, and still AEW International Champion, is Rey Fenix. After the match, though, you can see Rey Fenix rolling out of the ring. Looks like he's still suffering from a possible back injury that he's had for quite a while. So I don't know what's going to go on with Rey Fenix. He had a successful title defense against Nick Jackson. And it is to be believed that Rey Fenix will actually be defending the International Championship, I believe, next week against Jon Moxley in a rematch, where I personally believe Jon Moxley will once again become the AEW International Champion. Moving on from that, we have Griff Garrison in the ring. Looks like he's having a mystery opponent. And that mystery opponent is none other than Wardlow. Wardlow finally returns to AEW Dynamite. This was a glorified squash match. Wardlow was keeping the pace throughout the entire match, with Wardlow hitting multiple power bombs on Griff Garrison. Referee sounds for the bell, and your winner of the match is Wardlow. A couple of things I want to say about this, man. Number one, it's great to see Wardlow back in AEW. He's been out for quite a while. I don't know if it was because of injury or what have you, but he has been off AEW television for a couple months. It's great to see him back. Even after the match, he left the ring, walked through the crowd and went to the back. To be honest with you, man, I think, and this just might be a hot take, so again, bear with me, but there's been a lot of speculation that there's other superstars on AEW that might be wanting to jump ship to WWE. And to be honest with you, I think Wardlow is on that short list to go over to WWE. I don't think Tony Khan and AEW really truly know what to do with Wardlow. Which is an absolute shame. And it's the same thing with Jade Cargill. I think, Tony Khan and AEW just kind of ran out of ideas with Jade. Tony Khan said he threw a bunch of money for a new contract for Jade. Jade turned it down and ended up jumping ship to WWE, which hopefully she has a really good career over in WWE. And I think she will. But I think, like I said earlier, I think Wardlow is on the short list to go over WWE. There's also Ricky Starks, who possibly might be going over to WWE as well. So, I don't know, man. It's great to see Wardlow back in the squared circle in AEW, but I don't know where they go from here with Wardlow specifically. So, again, great to see him back in AEW, but I look forward to what's going to happen next with Wardlow. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It is a 6-man tag team matchup. It is the Acclaimed versus Butcher and the Blade and Kip Sabian. I thought it was a decent match. Back and forth matchup between the Acclaimed and Butcher and Blade and Kip Sabian, with the Acclaimed keeping the pace of the match. The Acclaimed ultimately hit the finish, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match are the Acclaimed. Hats off to the Acclaimed for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have a Bullet Club Gold segment. Bullet Club Gold come down to the ring. They mock MJF and Adam Cole. Bullet Club Gold also think MJF was the person that attacked Jay White and had the devil mask on. Then they talk about calling on MJF. MJF actually comes down to the ring. Well, starts to come down to the ring. MJF then mocks Bullet Club Gold. He also mentions moments that he had on AEW, which were phenomenal moments. Then Jay White quickly attacks MJF in the ring when his back was turned. Jay White then grabs the AEW title. He walks up the ramp with Bullet Club Gold, and then Jay White still believes that it was MJF that attacked him, and it looks like Jay White had called out MJF for a title match at Full Gear. A couple of things I want to say about this, man. Number one, what MJF has done as a babyface has been absolutely phenomenal stuff, especially the stuff that he's done with Adam Cole. It's been phenomenal stuff. I'm hoping that, somewhere within the next few weeks, we kind of get more insight on who was the person that actually attacked Jay White backstage on Dynamite last week. My firm belief is that it's going to be Adam Cole was the person that was wearing the devil mask. And Mike Bennett, Roderick Strong, and Matt Taven were the people that attacked Jay White backstage. I think Adam Cole's going to turn heel and join the Kingdom. And to be honest with you, I think Adam Cole's ankle injury, I think it's a work, man. I think it's 100% a work. Just from the video package that was played twice, because the first time TBS, at least for me, the audio was completely cut out during that vignette that was played between Roderick Strong and Adam Cole and the Kingdom. And then they replayed it, and you see Adam Cole in Roderick Strong's house. He's moving furniture, stuff like that, and everything else. So I think it's a work, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people were saying that it might have been Britt Baker. That was the person that was wearing the devil's mask. I think it's 100% Adam Cole. And I think Adam Cole's going to turn heel and join the likes of Matt Taven and Mike Bennett and Roderick Strong and become one with the Kingdom. That's just my belief. And honestly, for what it's worth, if it is true and Adam Cole is working on everybody, I mean, it's phenomenal stuff from Tony Khan and Adam Cole. 100%. But I'm definitely looking forward to this match with Jay White and MJF at Full Gear. And also, I'm a big fan of the fact that MJF does not need to defend the AEW World Heavyweight Championship on every single pay-per-view. I think it takes away a little bit of nostalgia, or maybe not nostalgia, but importance of the AEW World Championship, especially due to the fact that MJF is also currently holding not only the AEW World Championship, but as well as the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships with Adam Cole. So it gives a little bit more importance to the AEW World Championship due to the fact that he's not defending it on every single pay-per-view. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It's a tag team matchup. It is Kenny Omega once again teaming up with Chris Jericho versus Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita. The reason why it's Kyle Fletcher and not Sammy Guevara is that Sammy Guevara actually suffered a concussion in his match that he had with Jericho, Omega, and Ibushi. He ended up suffering a concussion in that matchup, and he was taken off this match for Dynamite last night, and Kyle Fletcher was slotted in to take Guevara's place. The match itself, it was a good match. Back and forth matchup between both teams with Jericho and Takeshita both exchanging in the middle of the ring. Jericho and Omega were keeping the pace of the match. Jericho then hits a lion salt on Kyle Fletcher. Jericho then hits a hurricanrana off the top rope. Jericho then also applies a wall to Jericho, but the hold is broken by Takeshita. Omega and Takeshita then both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Jericho hitting an enziguri in the middle of the ring. Omega then hits a devastating powerbomb as well as a V-trigger. Jericho then hits a code breaker, which allows Omega to hit his signature one-winged angel, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match are Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. After the match, Powerhouse Hobbs comes down to the ring to attack Omega and Jericho, and it looks like Will Hobbs has joined the Don Callis family. A couple things I want to say about this one too, man. Number one, great for Will Hobbs. I think this is a great opportunity for Hobbs to join the Don Callis family. I know a lot of people are against Don Callis, but for what it's worth, man, the heat that Don Callis is getting right now is absolutely incredible. Everybody hates Don Callis. And to be honest with you, he's building superstars on that stable. I mean, Takeshita, a lot of people don't know a lot about Takeshita, obviously. I know he did a lot of work over in DDT. But Takeshita is an absolute powerhouse, man. That guy's going to be a force to be reckoned with within the roster of AEW 100%. And Don Callis is just recruiting serious talent on his stable, man. He's got Guevara. He's got Takeshita. He's got Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, possibly. And now he has the likes of Powerhouse Hobbs as well on the Don Callis family. And for what it's worth, it's great for both parties, man. Will Hobbs hasn't done a damn thing since the whole Miro stuff that happened at All Out. And that was a short-lived storyline, man, and then it all ended at All Out, and that was it. There's nothing left for Miro right now, and Powerhouse Hobbs, joined the Don Callis family. And for me personally, I'm a humongous fan of Powerhouse Hobbs, man. I think Powerhouse Hobbs, again, just like Takeshita, is a force to be reckoned with. I totally 100% believe Powerhouse Hobbs could be a AEW World Champion. Absolutely. And to be honest with you, with the mouthpiece of Don Callis, and the fact that Powerhouse Hobbs is already a heel, adding Don Callis into that picture with Will Hobbs is only going to elevate Will Hobbs' career in AEW tenfold. So I definitely look forward to what's going to happen next from Powerhouse Hobbs and what Don Callis has to say with the new recruitment of Powerhouse Hobbs. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It is Tony Storm versus Sky Blue. And this was actually the debut of Timeless Toni Storm. Number one, it was a great match. Back and forth matchup between Toni Storm and Sky Blue, with Storm keeping the pace of the match. Storm ultimately hits a Storm Zero on Sky Blue, pins her for the 3, and your winner of the match is Timeless Toni Storm. A couple things I want to say about this, man. Number one, this is some of the best work that Toni Storm has done throughout her entire career. The vignettes that are played, the backstage interviews that she has with RJ and stuff like that, it's been absolutely phenomenal stuff. And I'm digging the character, man. The Timeless Toni Storm, the old school feel that she brings with this new character, man, it's absolutely awesome. The new music, the video packages, the Titantron, stuff like that, it just fits her character 100% perfectly. And I'm kind of glad that Toni Storm kind of got away from the Outcast, from Saraya and Ruby Soho. I think Toni Storm was kind of above that, not knocking Saraya or Ruby Soho, but Toni Storm, there's a lot of potential for Toni Storm. And now with this new character that she's created with the Timeless Toni Storm, it's absolutely phenomenal stuff, man. She kind of gives off this aura, if you will, of, someone that is kind of like, how do I put this? She's there, but not there. You know what I mean? Like, she flies off the rails at times, but when it comes time when the bell rings, she's 100% a part of the match. And it's phenomenal to see, honestly. I think Toni Storm is one of the best female wrestlers on the AEW roster right now. I'm not saying the best, but she's definitely up there with the Chris Statlanders and, obviously Toni Storm, Saraya, Sheeta. Toni Storm's in that conversation. You cannot not put her in that conversation as one of the top draws in the AEW women's locker room. 100%. And this new character, man, this Timeless Toni Storm character is absolutely phenomenal stuff. And I look forward to what's going to happen next with Timeless Toni Storm. Moving on from that, we have a Adam Copeland segment, or if you will, a mission statement from Adam Copeland on why he's in AEW and what he's going to be doing in AEW for the foreseeable future. Copeland comes down to the ring. He actually praises Tony Schiavone. He said that he grew up watching Tony Schiavone on TV, which is absolutely awesome. Copeland also talks about his neck injury that he sustained in WWE, and that it was a long road to come back into professional wrestling. He also mentions the fact that, when his contract was up with WWE, he was also contemplating retirement. It was actually his kids that actually recommended him to go join Uncle Jay, which is a.k.a. Christian Cage, and to join Christian on this endeavor with AEW. And, Adam Copeland, he listened to his family and ended up showing up in AEW, which is absolutely phenomenal stuff. He also mentions, being Adam Copeland, that he would love to be AEW World Champion. He also talks about future matchups that might be in the near future for him on AEW from the likes of Kenny Omega. He also mentions Samoa Joe, that the fact that he never wrestled Samoa Joe. He doesn't mention MJF, which I'm not 100% shocked by him not doing that. But he mentions a lot of talent, Juice Robinson as well, that he would love to face in AEW. I mean, it's honestly, when Adam Copeland came to AEW, and I've said this for multiple different talents, whether it was Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, that left WWE, man, you see Adam Copeland and how excited he is. I mean, he even mentions in the post-media scrum for Wrestle Dream that he felt like a kid again. He felt like when he first started in professional wrestling. And for what it's worth, man, I know a lot of people are bagging on Edge or Adam Copeland being in, AEW, that he's a traitor and that he jumped ship to AEW. But, to be honest with you, man, look at the body of work that he's put in WWE. This guy is an absolute legend, a Hall of Famer. He decided to go over to AEW to help the younger talent. And not only that, I mean, the story writes itself, man. It's the same thing I said about the Young Bucks when they started AEW. When Edge came over, this is a perfect opportunity for Edge to finish his career with his best friend being Christian Cage. They can team up again and have Edge and Christian, and even if they do decide to team up, there's a lot of great tag team matches that Christian and Edge could have in AEW. Edge and Christian versus the Bucks. I mean, Edge even mentioned that. Teaming up with Christian, going up against the Bucks, FTR, Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Boys, once again. Kyle Fletcher and Aussie Open. There's so many tag teams. Penta and Phoenix. Butcher and the Blade. There's a lot of good tag teams on the table for them to go up against. And speaking of that, Edge also, or Adam Copeland also mentions Christian Cage. He ends up calling out Christian Cage to the ring. Christian walks down to the ring. They get face-to-face in the ring. The crowd chants, "Holy shit." Adam then talks about their past and what they've done in their professional wrestling careers. Copeland also mentions Lex Luger and Sting, and the guys they grew up watching in professional wrestling. Adam also hypes up Sting and says one of the reasons why he did what he did at Wrestle Dream is because of Sting, and that he did not want to see Christian and Nick Wayne Luchasaurus end the career of Sting. He's a big fan of Sting. Adam also says that he's here in AEW to reunite with Christian Cage. Then Christian embraces with Edge in the middle of the ring. They hug it out, and then Christian says something to Adam Copeland. The crowd goes crazy. It was actually bleeped out. It looks like Christian turned down Adam Copeland's offer to reunite once again as Edge and Christian, or Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. And Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus comes out with Christian Cage on the stage, and they're staring down Adam Copeland. Adam Copeland has a big match next week, his debut match, if you will, on AEW on Tuesday for Title Tuesday against Luchasaurus. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. As far as AEW is concerned, man, this was a solid show. It really was a solid show. Now, I know a lot of people were kind of speculating what this new era was going to be. I don't know if this is the new era, and the new era for AEW is rated R. I'm all for it, man. I think the stuff they're doing with Tony Storm is absolutely phenomenal. I think bringing in Adam Copeland to AEW is only going to make high-profile matches even better. Copeland versus Omega, Bryan Danielson versus, Adam Copeland. I mean, there's a laundry list of talent that he can go up against and make, 5-star match. For example, he also said that he's very intrigued to go over to Japan to Wrestle Kingdom to possibly face Okada, which, I mean, if that's the case, take my money now. I would love nothing more to see Adam Copeland versus Okada in New Japan. Absolutely. And I'll be right there for it the entire time, man. I think people, and this pertains to people just bashing Adam Copeland coming over to AEW, man. I think people need to stop with the bullshit, to be honest. I mean, and I'm trying to be nice about it, man. I really am. But people need to chill out with that shit, to be honest with you. I think it's an absolute, it's tragic, man. You have people and fans, and I'm not saying everybody, but there are those fans out there that are WWE elitists as well as AEW. And there are certain people that are certain superstars elitists, like CM Punk. People were just watching AEW solely for the fact because it was CM Punk. And now because CM Punk is no longer with the company, a lot of those CM Punk elitists have left watching AEW. When Edge came over, or Adam Copeland, if you will, came over to AEW, man, he was getting so much flack for, I guess, joining the dark side and going over to AEW, the second-rate company that, even Taker mentioned the same thing. I think it's complete bullshit, man, to be honest with you. I think this is something where he is, like he said, a 37-year-old veteran that's been wrestling, and he wants to come over to AEW to be around his best bud, man, be around Christian Cage and bring up this, newer talent in AEW. I think it's absolutely phenomenal stuff. So I think people need to chill out with the bullshit as far as calling Edge out and calling him a traitor. I think that's complete shit. It makes no sense, man. Let the guy breathe a little bit. Let him enjoy what he's doing. And not only that, as a fan, enjoy what Adam Copeland's doing right now, because we don't know how long we have him in AEW. When he comes on your TV, you should be enjoying the fact that he's on AEW, that he's wrestling, not only wrestling, but he's wrestling full time. I mean, when he was with WWE, he was what? He had a match, you saw him 15 times a year, maybe? If that? He wasn't doing shit. The Judgment Day thing that he had fumbled completely. He wasn't doing a damn thing. And it wasn't like he was going to beat Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. Let's be 100% honest. They have a Brinks truck parked right out backyard, probably in his driveway right now for Roman Reigns. He's a cash cow for WWE. And I'm not taking anything away from Adam Copeland. I just don't see him being the person that's going to dethrone Roman Reigns to become the new world champion. But Adam Copeland could 100% become the new AEW world champion in time. It's not going to happen right now. Absolutely not. What MJF is doing in AEW is absolutely phenomenal stuff. You're not going to take that belt off that guy right now. And honestly, for what it's worth, it's long-term booking alone and storytelling between Adam Cole and MJF. I 100% believe Adam Cole was the person that attacked Jay White backstage with that devil's mask. And Cole's going to turn heel and join the likes of Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and Roderick Strong and become the Kingdom. 100%. I would be very surprised if it's not. I think Adam Cole's ankle injury is a gigantic work. I do. I 100% believe that. But besides that, like I said earlier, man, Dynamite was a phenomenal show from top to bottom. Ray Phoenix, Nick Jackson, Solid matchup. Phoenix will actually be defending the International Championship, I believe, next week on Tuesday for Dynamite for Title Tuesday against Jon Moxley. I do believe Jon Moxley will get his title back against Phoenix. I think Phoenix is actually going to take some time off with this injury that he sustained because he looked absolutely brutal after that matchup with Nick Jackson with his back injury. So I think Phoenix is definitely going to take some time off. Wardlow, again, I will reiterate this, man. It's great to see Wardlow back. I definitely look forward to what Tony Khan's going to do with Wardlow now that he's back. But my decision on Wardlow has been the same. I think Wardlow is actually on the short list to be possibly jumping ship to WWE. 100%. I think he's on the short list as well as Ricky Starks. So I don't think Wardlow... I'd be very surprised if Wardlow really stays around with AEW at this point. Because I truly believe Tony Khan and AEW really have nothing for Wardlow at this point. Bullet Club Gold, I mean, again, we're still trying to figure out who were the people that attacked Jay White. I firmly believe, like I said multiple times, that it was the Kingdom and Adam Cole. Kenny Omega and Jericho versus Fletcher and Takeshita, solid matchup. And then we get the shock from Powerhouse Hobbs by him joining the Don Callis family. Then we get Tony Storm's new character, the timeless Tony Storm character, which was absolutely phenomenal stuff to see. And I definitely look forward to what's going to happen next with Tony Storm. And then obviously the Adam Copeland segment towards the end of the night with him trying to reunite with Christian Cage. And Cage opts not to join his buddy Adam Copeland to reunite Edge and Christian, or Adam Copeland and Christian, if you will. But other than that, it was a solid show. Again, I look forward to what's going to happen next with Dynamite. Dynamite's going to be next week, Tuesday night on TBS at 8 p.m. Eastern for Title Tuesday. I definitely look forward to that. There's a lot of good matches on that card as well. Phoenix and Moxley, Saraya versus Shida. There's a lot of high-profile matches on that card next Tuesday, so I definitely look forward to that as well. But with that being said, this is my review of AEW's Dynamite. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful, and remember, stay classic. Peace.